Hi. Hello. It's the last meal of our month, which is crazy, mindful meal preppers. It's insane. This is going by so quickly. I hope that you're enjoying it as much as I am. I hope that the food's been good, because I think it has been. But anyway, my name is Em. This is Life Stable. We're going to finish off our stress management month with a review of different stress management techniques that will benefit you depending on the level of stress and how stressed you are. And we're going to do that while making our delicious marinated pork. Hopefully you all saw the mindfulness marinade that we did, which we're going to talk about mindfulness a little bit more today, but fingers crossed you saw it. And if not, that's okay. You're still going to make a really delicious meal today. Don't you worry. We will start now. Okay, let's tie back our hair if we have to. We'll put on an apron if we've got one, and let's get cooking good looking. We've got a lot to learn and review today at Life's Table. Yay! We're going to jump right in with preheating our ovens to 400 degrees. And let me just double check that my oven rack is where I want it to be. And we can go ahead and jump in with part 2 of this, which is going to be thawing our frozen vegetables. So we're going to take out a mixing bowl. This one should be plenty big. And I'm going to put my spinach in here. Begin thawing, and because I don't have enough for like 4 servings worth of spinach, I'm going to supplement with some leftover veggies that I have. You could have also just bought a full bag of frozen spinach and been just fine. But while we get this going, the last thing that I want us to do in terms of prep, we'll use it all because we love vegetables. Let's go ahead and throw these away. And I'm going to get this running under some hot water. While we wait for this water to heat up, because it's not quite warm enough yet, I'm also now going to warm up my burner, which you can see here. Isn't that great? Woohoo! I'm going to put this on like a relatively low setting. We're talking like 1 to 2 out of 6. Water's hot now, so we thaw it. And almost immediately, which is super nice, the veggies start to break apart, which is very, very good. That means that this meal is going to come together delightfully quick. And we'll start with our onion. The half of the onion that we didn't use last time, we'll use this time. And we'll begin with our stress management techniques, beginning with things to practice when we're actually not all that stressed. Veggie scrap bag. When we're talking about like low stress, I first and foremost think of mindfulness and meditation as ways to help me get my head right for life in general. And we've already practiced a little bit of mindfulness and a little bit of meditation with our mindfulness marinades. We did one last month. We did one this month. I'm looking at cutting this onion up into small pieces so that it kind of blends in well with the frozen veg pieces as well. And just rough chop. And rotate. Rough chop again. Watch your thumb. Make sure you're tucking it in if you need to. I hear Amy snoring in the background. I don't know if you all can hear that. And then we will, take out 1 garlic clove. Crush. There's already a lot of garlic in the pork marinade as well, so I definitely don't want to go too much heavier than just 1. Throw this out. And we'll just give this a little mince. Okay. Mindfulness and meditation, making sure that your head remains where your feet are planted. We're not hyper fixating on what's to come 10 days from now or 10 minutes from now even. We are focusing on what is happening in this moment and ensuring that it's getting our full and undivided attention and our full focus. Now, For most of us, that is kind of the present moment focusing. And then, as we discussed in a previous video, meditation in general is just focusing on whatever it is that you choose to focus on. It does not need to be the present moment, but mindfulness does kind of specify and dive deeper into present moment focus. I'm feeling some heat. We're not quite ready yet, but that's okay. I'm going to get my pork out of the fridge. I'm going to now as well transfer my defrosted veg to a strainer or a colander. And we'll go ahead and drain these vegetables. You want the vegetables to be, I'm not going to say dry, but you don't want a lot of liquid being held on and in them. So give them a good like press to try, especially the spinach, to try to get some of that liquid out of it. And then we will, while we're pressing and squeezing out the veg, talk about some more low stress review. The next one that I want to talk about is building positivity. You know who Grumpy is in your life, in your workspace. You know that general attitude that they bring to everything that they do. And you know the effect that tends to have on people. Like I need to like mentally prep myself and mentally like build myself up to hang out with these people for too long, because they wear on us. It like misery truly does love company. I'm starting to smell the heat now, so I'm hoping that means we're ready to go. I'll test again. Oh yes, wonderful. We're basically there. I'm going to get 3 tablespoons of butter in here, and we will go in with our onion and garlic. Let that start coming together while I finish squeezing out the last of these veg. Actually, you know what? Because that's last, I'm going to take a little time to slice up this pork now. I want to keep a fair amount of the marinade in the bag, which seems kind of counterintuitive. But what I'm hoping will happen is whatever doesn't get absorbed by the cutting board can then go back into the pork slices when I lay them on my sheet pan to cook up in the oven. I will give my hands a quick wash and we'll go from there. I'm going to take my 9x13 pan. I'm going to give a little drizzle of olive oil. Oh, these are cooking down beautifully. Hi, Amy. Do you smell the goodness? Little drizzle of olive oil on the base of the pan. There's also a fair amount of pork fat that will be cooked down in the process. Amazing. We are just about ready, which is good. This goes in here. I'm going to lay my pork down. Let's do it this way. Try to get it so that they're tight, but they're not on top of each other. Perfect. And I will go back in now with the marinade sauce. This way it won't stick because of what I've done. Building positivity, kind of like building resilience. It's a muscle and you have to exercise it and you have to practice it. And some days it's way easier done than others, but it's what we do to take care of ourselves. In the same way that building positivity really helps when we have the ability to operate in low stress situations and practice these techniques. This is going into the trash, and then I'm gonna wash my hands. Hands are clean. This goes into the oven for 25 minutes. And then I'm gonna turn back to I'm gonna actually turn this off while I move on to the next step and take it off the heat, because it's exactly how I want it right now and I don't want it to get further cooked. The next thing that we're going to do is add 2 tablespoons of flour to our butter mixture. We're going to want to get what's called a roux going. A roux helps to thicken your sauces. When you think about the consistency of gravy, what you do to get that is what's called making a roux. And generally it is flour mixed in with your liquidy buttery goodness. We're going to let this go, stirring constantly so nothing sticks, nothing gets too brown, too burnt. Roux are pretty infamous for being temperamental, and you walk away and you let it burn and it comes together very, very quickly. Turn this down all the way to low. It's got this golden color already. I'm only going to let it go for a little bit longer while I pour out 1 cup of milk for myself. And then we move on. The last thing that we want to do, wow, it's already getting thick. That's so exciting. For when we're in relatively low stress situations, is empathic listening, or essentially putting yourself in the shoes of the person that is stressing you out. Listening to understand, really hearing what their thought process is, what their justification is, so on. I'm going to add my milk now. And I'm just going to stir this till it's well combined before tucking in then to my favorite part, shredding a bunch of cheese. I'm going to get the remainder of my mozzarella going. And this should melt down pretty quickly. Empathic listening is the last one. Just listening to understand, listening to get a feel for the other person and where they're coming from and why they think the way that they do or feel how they do. These are all great to practice in low stress situations, maybe no stress situations, that will help to keep you de-stressed. And I dump this out here and get it all in here. Moving on to mild stress. When we are feeling mild stress, the first thing that we can do is the disputing our thoughts or thinking twice about the thoughts that we're having. There's a recurring theme with regards to stress management, conflict management, anger and emotional management, and that is thoughts are not facts. We are very, very good at convincing ourselves that they are. The sky is blue. It just is. I'm right in that same way, right? I'm right in the same way that the sky is blue. And it's like, well, life isn't always so black and white. Sometimes, for those of you who are familiar with this, sometimes the sky is gray. Sometimes the sky is green. If you go out into space, the sky is black. Even what we think are the most obvious, the most I will die on this hill sort of ideas can be disputed. I'm going to add in my my Parmesan now. And I'm adding some black pepper. And I'm adding some salt. And then I'm going in with the rest of my vegetables that I still need to squeeze out. But disputing those thoughts. When our brains are trying really hard to convince us that it is doom and gloom and it is the worst case scenario, and your friend who was supposed to text you 20 minutes ago and hasn't yet, well, they must be now in a car accident. I'm going to have to go to the hospital. I'm going to have to call their loved ones. I'm going to have to figure out what to do, so on and so forth. Think about what else could have happened. Perhaps their phone died on their way home. Perhaps there was traffic. Someone else got into an accident, but they've now been delayed because of another individual's horrific bad day. Just because your boss at the end of a workday says, hey, I need to talk to you, doesn't mean that you're fired. We add in our vegetables. So dispute your thinking. Produce alternative thoughts. If you wanted to add an added delicious flavor here, what you could do is add in some more of the tomato paste. I think I went pretty heavy on my marinade with the tomato paste, so I'm probably going to hold off, but man, this smells really good. Make sure that you're just evenly distributed. The next thing for when we are mildly stressed is a recalibration. Observing what is going on, analyzing why it is making you feel the way that you're feeling, evaluating how to move forward so that you either stop feeling that way or you just accept the fact that you're going to feel that way for a little bit, but then it'll be fine. This is for the best. I'm going to leave this on like a very low heat and just give it occasional stirs. So, recalibration. Observe, evaluate, and adjust accordingly. The next thing that I want to talk about for the mild stuff, visualization. Thinking about the future and how good it's going to feel after you get through whatever this thing is that is causing you this stress. After you finish talking about it and working through it with the loved ones who are so supportive and kind and nice and believe in you. After you get this promotion that you've been working for, after you pass this test that you have been studying for. Trash and recycle. Visualizing it and putting yourself there already. The next one, self-talk, and specifically positive self-talk. I can do it. Si se puede. It is going to be okay. I believe in myself. I believe that stress is me rising to this opportunity, me rising to this challenge and overcoming it and succeeding. And let me visualize now how good it's going to feel once I have succeeded. The next one, goal setting. How do I, not only do I visualize this, but how do I get myself there? What steps do I need to take to be successful? By when do these steps need to be taken? How do I take these steps? So on and so forth. That's for the mild. Now let's go into medium stress levels. The stress that I'm feeling is the stress that I've felt for quite a little while now. This is more than just a little project, this is make or break time. I think about, for example, when my tax people hit February, March, April timeframe, how insane of a marathon tax season is for my tax friends. It's nuts. And they know that it's nuts, but we do it and we prepare for it and we know that it's coming and here's what we need to do. Medium then would be problem solving. What is going on that is making us feel this way? How do we get around it? Let's brainstorm ways to solve this problem, to attack this the best way that we can. And there is no, at least in the beginning, there is no wrong door, there is no wrong answer. Get creative. Maybe the solution to tax season this year is just not doing it. Thank you so much. I'm just not going to file anybody's taxes. Okay, would that actually solve the problem? In the short term, maybe, but in the long term, I would be fired from my job and I would never be able to do this kind of work again. And I kind of enjoy doing this kind of work. So let me not. But we identify the problem, we brainstorm all possible solutions, and then we do go with the one that's going to cause the least damage to ourselves, to others, to our careers, to time, to money, so on and so forth. The next one, reframing thoughts. It's a little bit like empathetic listening, but it is essentially putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Why are they stressing me out so much? What is their mindset? What are they thinking? What is going on in their head? And if the answer is I truly don't know, then maybe it's time to ask them. I'm seeking to understand, why are you doing the things that you're doing? Ask. But at the end of the day, reframing your thoughts, putting yourself in the shoes of the person, place, or thing that is causing this stress for you. The next one then is willingness. A lot of stress comes from us trying to control things that we cannot control. And as soon as we acknowledge that we can't control it and we accept that we can't control it and we just let it happen, it helps with stress relief. It is me saying, I choose to not stress about this anymore. I choose to not have to deal with this anymore. This thing, this person, this place, this whatever, it's out of my hands. I'm done. I've tried. Okay. Let it happen. All right. That doesn't mean you accept it with open arms. That doesn't mean that you get excited about it, that you look forward to it. But we accept. We acknowledge. We accept. We allow it. We move on. The next one, the values check. Perhaps the reason why you are so stressed out is because whatever is going on is contradicting the things that you believe in to your core. And it is therefore very stressful and very hard to do things that not only do you not believe in them, but you actively disbelieve in them. It's one thing to be passive and to let stuff happen, right? Willingness and allowing it. But it's a whole different thing to have something go against your values and who you believe you are as a person and what you believe in. So doing that values check. What do I believe in? Have I strayed by choice or by force from those initial values and beliefs? What do I have to do to get back to them? I'm eyeballing my crushed red pepper. We'll leave it. Cream spinach doesn't need to be spicy. The next one, paced breathing. A lot of times we don't even notice that our breathing has changed in these stressful situations because it is a reflexive readiness response. I don't need to be like, okay, breath, pick up, we're stressed now, right? It just happens. But a lot of times what that means then is we don't notice it happening until we're panting. Regain control of your breath to help regulate what's going on in the system. 2 examples of that, the box breathing. So you breathe in for a 4 count, you hold for a 4 count, you let out for a 4 count, you hold for a 4 count. We can practice that now. Ready? In for 4. Hold. Out. Hold. In. Hold. Out. In. Hold. Excuse me. Hold. That's box breathing. And then alternatively, you can do a 4-7-8. So you inhale for 4, you hold for 7, you exhale for 8. We can try that now too. Ready? In. Hold. Out. In. Hold. Out. All right. Paced breathing. Regaining your breath and saying, no, I do have control over this. I can control my breathing and my breath rate, and so I will in these very stressful situations. Super helpful. And then the last one for like moderate, we're getting stressed, but we're not 10 out of 10 stress yet. Diffusing thoughts. Disputing thoughts is saying, all right, let's use facts and observation to say this is wrong. Diffusing thoughts is distancing yourself from thoughts. It's the same basic concept of thoughts are not facts. Diffusing thoughts is it's giving a silly voice to the voice inside your head when negative self-talk is overwhelming you. Change the voice. Put on something silly. Another thing, name it. Negative Nancy, pessimistic Patricia, whatever it happens to be. Name the voice. Give the voice a different voice, a silly voice. Acknowledge, hey, you know what, brain? Thank you so much for that thought. We're gonna put that to the side. Oh, all right, brain. That was certainly an idea. We'll put it on the fridge. So proud of you, brain, for having that thought. But distancing yourself from the thoughts that you have will help to prevent them from controlling the thinking of this is facts, this is reality, this must be how it is because it is. And then last but not least, for our high intensity stress, I'm freaking out and I need a reset. The first thing that will help with a reset is intense exercise. If I'm freaking out and I then give my body a less stressful reason to have an elevated heart rate, to have my blood vessels constricting and getting more blood to my muscles, to have that hyper focus on whatever it is that I'm choosing to hyper fixate on. If that happens to be exercise, intense exercise, what that means then is I'm going into it with a high heart rate. I'm getting my body worked up to essentially validate the reasons why that heart rate is as elevated as it is, and then we both get to come down and calm down together. That's the intense exercise argument. The next one, body scanning. Feel your feet on the floor. How do they feel right now? Tired because you've been standing for a long time. Cold because the tiles on the floor are cold. Clammy because we're nervous. Feel how your legs feel right now. I went for a run earlier. My legs are a little bit tired. And it's not trying to change those things. I'm not saying, oh, my toes are cold, I need to put socks on. No, I'm just feeling it. And while we're there, we can do progressive muscle relaxation. We clench our toes as hard as we can, and we say, okay, toes, relax. And we move on to our calves. We clench our calves. We flex our calves as hard as we can. And we say, okay, calves, relax. And what that does is it helps to release any tension, any stress that you are unknowingly holding in your body. I know we talked last time about how people hold so much tension in their shoulders. They walk around with their shoulders in their ears and they don't even notice it. They don't even realize it's happening. It's not until I flex my shoulders as hard as I can, I scrunch them up, and then I say, relax, that my posture adjusts, my shoulders drop, and it feels really good. Grounding. Grounding is, instead of focusing on things like my body, because a lot of this is focus on your thoughts, focus on your mind, then let's focus on something else. Have a warm mug and hold that mug and feel how that warmth feels in your hands. Tap out a rhythm and focus on the rhythm. Put on some music, focus on the sounds, those kinds of things to help ground you. If you don't want to focus on your body or your thoughts or your breathing, you can focus on anything, really. That's the beauty of meditations, but focusing your mind, which will then take it off of whatever it is that's stressing you out. And then last but not least, with our 15 seconds to go, the dive reflex, which is hard reset. This is our body's natural response to drowning. When we are drowning, our body kicks into calm yourself to preserve yourself. The feeling of cold water on our face for more than 30 seconds, and even just cold ice or cold water on my eyes alone sometimes is enough to do it. But that feeling of cold submersion on my face is enough to convince my body that I need to conserve oxygen and preserve myself by slowing my heart rate, by ceasing breathing, so really recycling and conserving and maximizing breath and O2, okay? We go into that more relaxed state because panicking requires more oxygen. Panicking leads to a faster death. So when I'm truly freaking out, and there is nothing I can do to calm myself down, there's no exercise in the world that's going to help me, or maybe I can't exercise right now, but I can go to the bathroom, I'm going to run cold water over my face for at least 30 seconds until I feel that it has taken effect and I am able to calm myself down. As we talked about, all of these low, mild, medium, high stress techniques, it is important to remember to use them for where you are supposed to be using them, for where it is appropriate. Some of you are going to find, hey, this actually works better for me in a slightly different stress level than what you said. Whatever works for you. If you want to try a mild stress management technique in a high stress environment and it works, great. Wonderful. Strongly encouraged. But beyond just test driving these things to practice them, what I don't want to have happen is us, when things are just a little bit stressful, thinking I need intense exercise right now because that's going to solve my problems. In the same way that doing things like high altitude training is good to help you adjust to high altitude, but just doing oxygen deprivation for the sake of depriving yourself of oxygen isn't good. It's the same thing. We use these strategies at these different levels because that is where they are most effective, and at other levels, they are less effective. So, with that, that concludes our month. What? This is crazy. Thank you all so much for coming along on this journey with me. I hope that this month has been as pleasant and pleasurable for you as it has been for me. I personally, as much as I love personal finance, I strongly prefer this kind of stuff. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. Thank you for taking care of you today. I hope that you enjoy. Bon appetit. All right, let's see. Maybe. Let's see if we got a good one. Oh my gosh, we got a good one. Wow. What a great way to end the month. This is incredible. Man. I hope you enjoy. I hope to see you next month. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. Thank you for taking care of you. Bon appetit.